I'd much rather use CBD oils and other stuff to manage my pain and other issues versus taking pills.
Absolutely.
So much nicer.
Hey guys, Johnny Disc Golf here at the 2019 Portland Open with coverage presented by Prodigy Disc. I am standing next to the legend himself, Mr. MJ, Michael Johansen. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Happy to be in Portland and dodge the rain before the second round, or the later in the round started.
Exactly, yeah. So you were on the morning card, 10 o'clock feature card. How do you like playing in the mornings relative to, like lead card 3 o'clock tee times?
I'm just with what I'm used to practicing. I'd rather play in the morning because being from the South, we like to get out before the heat.
Sure.
So I'd rather get out and play and then have to hang out all day and go, what am I doing? Twiddling my thumbs, waiting to practice and play. It's hard to do, especially the courses where you have no practice area or very little practice area. Other than that, it's all right.
Yeah, so this is kind of one of those, well, I guess there is a field over here, but for the most part, I see guys warming up into a net. Is that something that really plays into your pre-round routine if there isn't that practice area?
If there isn't the practice area, I usually just stretch and do some putting, don't even worry about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're on the West Coast, and I think you haven't made this stretch in a while, right? Or ever, maybe?
Really ever other than Portland Worlds. As far as actually playing tournaments on the West Coast.
And like, why is that? How does that work out?
Usually it's just too expensive, but Holly and I are traveling together, and it's nice to have a traveling partner that will pay the other half the bills on time when they're needed and not have to worry about it.
That's exactly
it's much better to be able to do that.
Well, so how are you enjoying the West Coast? It's been, never. So you liking the golf?
The golf is a little long for my taste on most places as far as the courses we played, but I've enjoyed the surroundings and getting a chance to sightsee and do some other things too, so I can't complain about it.
Sure. I think one of the things that people were really excited to see from you is you playing Daylaw. How'd it go? What's your opinions, thoughts? Break it down for me.
It's a course I'd need to play a few more times. Just couldn't quite figure out a couple of the over-the-top shots, where to land on some of the shots, but I just didn't putt exactly how I wanted to, and then I decided to roll my ankle halfway through second round, so that slowed me down even more. Okay. But it was a fun. I'd enjoy it. It's a little more crisscrossy than I would have expected, but that is old school style course, so but no, it was fun.
So you rolled the ankle. How are we doing? Are we back to normal, or are we?
No, it's still probably like 60-70% or something like that. I've still got an ankle brace on, and I was hoping to not be able to use it this week, but did a couple of test throws and no, put it back on.
Well, you're wearing an ankle brace, but you just shot really well during the first round of Portland Open. Was it a factor? And if not, how were you able to go out there?
Yes, it's definitely a factor, but I'm just trying to keep it in bounds and give myself opportunities on the holes I can get and try not to throw it OB, as just keep it safe and out of the way, and if I'm not in a good spot, just lay up, take your par.
Yeah, has that been the game plan? Because I know a lot of folks know you as like a premier woods golf player, and I know yourself, you're not so hyped about the open link style courses. Was there a specific game plan going into the round?
Keep it in bounds.
Yeah.
I approach it like playing a Lake Eureka or a USDGC golf. I can get a lot of the holes, but there's a lot of holes that can give me doubles.
Sure.
So there's just some to stay away. There's 5 or 6 I just try to stay away from out here and just take a par if I can.
Speaking of USDGC, you just mentioned it. I know in years past you hadn't played, or at least in the past couple years you hadn't played, or last year. This year you are playing though.
Yeah, I did sign up for it.
What was the mindset last year, and then the different mindset this year?
I just get frustrated with the event just because we get the last minute rule changes, last minute course changes and things that happen, so you don't really get a chance to practice holes where they're actually going to be set more than just the day before the tournament. A tournament that big, I don't really want to be coming up with a game plan and figuring out holes the day before the event. I want to be fine-tuning things, not coming up with whole ideas.
That's fair. So why then this year swap back?
It's right down the road from me. It's 45 minutes down the road from me. It's hard to pass it up,
Yeah. No, that's fair. I know you've got a week off in between this tournament and Beaver State Fling, which you're playing as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So what are you doing during your week off? We're in Portland, Pacific Northwest. There's so much to do.
We're going down to the coast to Lincoln City to see some friends and go travel up and down the coast, do some stuff down there, take a week off and playing disc golf, and then come back in next week.
No, there's no better place, I think, to have a week off than, Portland for the city or Oregon just for the vast amount of woods.
Yeah, it's either between here I'd be happy with, or like the week off in between MVP, whatever they call it, and Green Mountain. That's another one that I usually take off, but this year I got to play Masters. So.
Oh, you should play U.S. Masters?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. I think I might actually be down there. I'll be looking forward to competing at the U.S. Masters.
Yeah, that'll be a nice change of pace and play with guys my own age instead of all the kids.
Yeah, no,
I'll be the kid.
Yeah, looking at the leaderboards today, though, right now you're on top, and another Masters age player, actually Grand Masters age player, PB, is right there with you. Is there something out here like?
Well, a lot of the big arms really haven't gone out yet, but a lot of it's all dependent upon, you just have to keep it in bounds. You keep it in bounds out here, you can give yourself a 300 to 400 foot shot into a pin or even less, and you can score still. It's hard to score really, really hot, but you can score pretty low and keep yourself there and make the bombers have to go for stuff.
It really seems like the bombers almost might get themselves more in trouble than because really you want to be throwing 400 foot precise, 450 precise. Do you feel like that plays to your advantage maybe because you're not even tempted to go to the big shots?
Yes, it definitely helps. Yeah.
So I noticed on your chest you are wearing the FarbaCBD.com sponsorship jacket. That's a really interesting development, I think, this year in disc golf. How did that come about for you?
It came about with one of my buddies and friends back home started doing it, but I wouldn't have approached it or touched it. But with the federal hemp ban being lifted this year, I was, okay, I can do that because I'd much rather use CBD oils and other stuff to manage my pain and other issues versus taking pills.
Absolutely.
So much nicer.
Yeah, I was talking to Seth Muncie from Disc Golf Strong. He's on the medical board the medical advisory board for the PDGA, and they're talking about doing like the same thing with the hemp-based CBD, lifting like how serious they are on their stance. So it's really cool, between Absolute Extracts at San Francisco Open and the Pharma CBD with you. I think we're going to be seeing that more and more. Do you feel the same way?
You will be seeing it way more, just because it's a much better option for most people rather than pill popping.
Yeah.
And taking, you take 4 to 8 ibuprofen at a time, and you do it 2-3 times a day. That adds up if you keep doing it.
Yes.
Just doesn't help out much after a while.
Well, I personally, as someone from the West Coast, from California, I'm really excited to see the whole industry entering the space. It's been a little bit more on that side on the West Coast compared to the East Coast, so we're bleeding over, I think.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
One thing that I find really interesting about you, and one thing that I always look to pay attention to, is that totem that you carry around with you and place, I believe, on your mini before every shot, or that you're using a mini, every putt, really. What's the story behind that?
Well, I lost my dad to cancer 4 years ago today, and he was a big turtle person. He always collected them he even had little plastic turtles he had when he was like 5 or 6 still. And people after a while, couldn't figure out what to get him for Christmas, birthdays. Oh, look, a huge turtle. So he ended up with all sorts of turtles, and as I wanted it, he was one that was behind me and comfortable with me. He said, "Do you want to do disc golf? I'm okay with it. I'll support you."
That's great.
So he supported me, and I wanted to carry something with me. That's the one that was indestructible.
Yeah.
So I take that with me, and I put it on, a lot of times for first tee shots, it'll go on the tee, but after that, it's in my pocket and used for putts.
That's so awesome. Like I've seen you do it, and I've never really, until recently, known the backstory on it. And I just, another level of respect for the whole thing. I really like it. For all the folks that are looking to follow you all year, after Beaver State Fling, are you making the journey back towards the east? Are you doing like the Ledgestone? Are you doing maybe Montana? Or what's the plans after that?
We're just going straight back over to Holly's place, and I got to head back to house get truck inspected, and then come back to Ledgestone. No, but I'll be on the road the rest of the year. I'll be playing all the Pro Tour events and NTs through the end of the year.
Great. Anyone in particular that you're like looking forward to now? You have on the calendar, you just can't wait for it to come up?
I'm ready for Idlewild and some woods golf at get me into there, Delaware, MVP, Green Mountain, stuff like that.
That's awesome. Any courses in the Pacific Northwest that you're going to hit? Let's not even tournament courses, just for have fun?
We're going to go do Buxton Woods and a couple others. There's a couple others we're trying to hit up here that we're going to try to swing back on the way back through, hit something on the way through.
Buxton seems like the choice. I've talked to a couple people, and I think I'm going to try and sneak in around there too.
I'd love to go farther south and go down to like Whistler's Bend and some of the others, but I'm not sure if we can do it yet. I think we'll have time, but I'm hoping to do it after we go to the coast, to have a couple days, go down there and then come back up or something.
You would have a field day out there. We just went up there. We stopped by. It was the Jomez versus Central Coast doubles battle. They took us by a stroke. I'm not going to complain on camera, but I had a blast. It was my first time out there camping. Beautiful 27 holes. It's a gem. Has people been recommending it to you?
Yeah, people have been talking about it. Some of my friends that live up here are like, you need to go over there. Okay, cool.
Well, I know you got a lot of stuff to do. Holly's around here somewhere waiting on you, but I want to give you a chance to say anything to the fans back home, anybody out there pulling for MJ.
I just appreciate all the support of everybody out there. It humbles and means a lot to me to get everybody that support me, and think I'm really that good and call me a legend.
Well, hey, it is absolutely my pleasure, and I really appreciate your time for coming on here and having a chat. For all of you at home, if you'd like coverage of all things disc golf, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hey guys, thanks for checking out that interview. I'm having a blast out here in Portland, and I just want to thank my sponsor, Prodigy Disc. They stepped up big time, not only sponsoring this content, but hooking me up with awesome D2s with my stamp on them, and soon enough, they'll be on their site to purchase. Stay tuned.